too much. Yeah, I think that's too much. It's like a bib. Change my mind on it.
Hi,
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
I like your shirt.
Yeah. Um, do you know do you ever watch that TV show called Psych?
Yes, yeah.
Well, the dad, I'm dressed like the dad.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I look like the dad. So um I like the look, you know.
yes, yeah, yeah. No, it suits you. How are you
So
doing?
well, I saw the movie,
Oh,
okay?
okay. Well, oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so first of all, I can't believe he made it $10 million.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can't make a commercial for that. I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah, no, and I'm really curious. Well, I mean, I'm assuming part of that is, I mean, you can't get Nicolas Cage for $10 million. So I'm assuming Nicolas Cage forewent a salary in favor of a
well, he was a
percentage.
producer, I
He's a
think.
producer as well, right? Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, I give him full credit for putting a movie
Yeah.
together. Um, I haven't seen a lot of horror movies recently,
Right.
but I imagine that a lot of them depend on a lot of special effects and things like that. In
Yes.
other words, and I thought this was extremely well made, and I can see that it's uh, an homage to the type of movies that his dad made.
Yes. Yeah.
There's one that I remember only because Barry was in it,
Hmm.
um, which was like I mean, I don't even know if the kids, it was like 1977 or 78,
Hmm.
called Remember My Name. And
Hmm.
Geraldine Chaplin was in it. And Barry was, I mean, it's the only time she's been in a movie.
Right.
And it was about a woman out of prison stalking a guy. But the
Yes.
town, the scene, I don't know what you call it in movie terms, but the sets. I mean, it was set in that kind of a
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
sort of semi-suburban, anonymous,
Yes.
cloudy, I thought it was very good. I thought it was excellent. Of course, I'm sure that, do you remember that we went to the circus with them?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that Longlegs, who is clown-like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
is obviously based on on that experience that we provided, right?
Mm.
So I'm trying to find lots of connections like that.
Right.
No, I thought it was very good. I did not anticipate the twist at
Uh-huh.
all. I was very surprised when Long himself.
Spoilers, but yeah. Yes.
That's like, that's the movie, right?
Right.
So
No. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
now where are you going to go? Where are you going with this?
Okay. How did you think? What did you think of Nicolas Cage's performance? Over the
Oh, I
top.
thought it was great.
I thought it was very good. No, I thought it was
No, I
very
thought it
good.
was excellent. I. Forgot it was him.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, no, I thought it was very, very good. I like the way that they used Polaroids, the way
Hmm.
they used that square
Hmm.
camera, where he's cut off. You
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I thought it was very inventive. It was very good. Also, I don't know if you noticed there was a um uh the teenage girl in the store who says, "Dad, that creepy man's here."
Yes.
That was B. Perkins, BEA Perkins.
Is that true? Yeah.
I saw it in the credits.
Oh,
I
okay.
I
Yeah, no,
didn't look
okay.
it up.
What did you think of the music? Because Elvis was one of the people who did the music.
I thought the music was great. You mean he chose the music, or
No, I
he?
mean they who was it was like five people who did the composition, and he was one of the musicians. He's
No, it was very
yeah.
good.
I thought it. I mean yeah. I think they made very effective use of sound design of. Yeah, no, I thought it was a I genuinely think it was a well-crafted movie. I also, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm glad you did too. Uh,
I just wonder if, I mean, he's made other movies, I guess.
I don't. So somewhere said he's made four other films. I know he's done things as an actor. He was just in Jordan Peele's Nope. He's done a few things as an actor, but I think this might be his feature-length directorial debut. In which
Oh,
case,
okay.
that's still. I mean, that's pretty impressive for your first run.
Well, it is, yeah. And to get it distributed too, because I mean,
And then I mean I think that's the other question that people are asking around this, which is who is Neon, which is the production company. They have a few things in production, but they just kind of came out of nowhere. They did really smart, like viral campaigns. They really like targeted horror fans and had special screenings for, I think but yeah, I mean, to get it distributed and to get it distributed by someone who really understands independent film and really works at getting it the exposure that it deserves. So that, I mean, I think people are looking at Longlegs both as a success for horror, but for independent film just in general too. So
well, it's in the multiplex with all the big
yeah,
movies,
yeah.
which,
And you saw it at the theater.
yeah, no, I went right after work. I saw it in the theater at 5:30.
Were there people there?
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people. I
No,
mean,
yeah,
it was 42nd Street, they've got
so yeah,
20 theaters,
yeah,
and it was early in the evening, but
yeah.
no, no, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I think I would have anyway,
Right.
but yeah, and I thought that the homage to, Psycho with
Yeah.
the brief clip of,
Yes.
yeah, but it wasn't an in movie. I mean, it didn't function as a
No.
inside movie. I
No.
think
Yeah. And
she did
I
very
think
good. The
which is
actress,
go ahead.
both the actresses, both the mother and the daughter, were
Yes.
very good.
Yes, I agree. No, I agree. I thought it was really well, strong cast, strong acting. And yeah, no, like you said, it's not necessarily it doesn't have a lot of Easter eggs. It's not necessarily like an homage to horror as a whole, but to, like you said, sort of
No,
a very sort of specific, tense psychological thriller of a type that yeah, no, that
yeah.
I really enjoyed it. What else?
Um, okay. I don't know. I, I think, I think Joe is under the bus. I think
Yeah,
they're all throwing him under the bus.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know whether he deserves to be under the bus, but I don't know. I mean, if I was him, I would be hanging on with my, eye teeth,
It's
but only because he's a stubborn guy and he's
right,
always felt he wasn't quite number one, right?
right,
Done a great job,
right.
and
I
he won't recognize his shortcomings, and I'm sure he's surrounded by a small number of people who are whispering in his ear that he's still the king.
Well,
So
I think that group that number is getting smaller for sure.
yes,
I mean,
yeah,
and I'm here. I mean, I agree with everything that you said. Yeah, no, exactly like you said. Whether he deserves it or not, he's under the bus now, and he needs to realize that. and some of these people like Seth Mouton, who's like, he didn't recognize me. I'm like, who are you? Why would you're 435 people in the House of Representatives? Why would the fact that he
Yeah.
did, and then I know when I said this in a comment section, and someone came back, well, apparently Mouton ran for president in 2019. Okay, I had never heard of him, and he, as vice president, he had lunch with Joe Biden. I was like, okay, well, that was 10 years ago. Do you remember everyone you've had lunch with? Still, again, this idea that he should instantly recall. I mean, he's being held to a very unfair standard, and some of these people are just getting their name attacked just to get their name out there, but it doesn't matter. He is where he is. I'm hearing conflicting reports. I'm hearing both defiant Joe will not step down, but also more quietly, more with his inner circle, he's starting to maybe acknowledge that it's the right thing to do. I mean, I think it's very painful to say, but I think if he doesn't step down and if he loses, that would be, that would be disastrous for him, for his legacy, for the country, obviously. But I think that position he needs to see.
Yeah.
But I also, I'm still slightly with him with his defiance, because I don't know. I don't know. Again, it sounds like the party's coalescing around Harris, and I don't know. She doesn't poll better than he does. I don't know if they can bring some. I mean, unless it's Michelle Obama, and I don't think she wants to be president.
Well, Nancy Pelosi apparently wants an open convention, which means that she wants to start from scratch. So she's not saying Harris. She's saying,
yes,
let's
just open it up
forward now, and we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there's a lot of people that think that they cannot let go of Harris. Because they will alienate, her people.
I don't know. I think she's fine to stay on the ticket. I don't think I think someone else should step into the president's slot if that's the direction they're going, and that's just me personally. But I think she's fine to stay on the ticket. I think you're right. I think she has a demographic, but I don't think she can carry the presidency. I don't. I don't think she could do the job. I do think she could do the job, actually, but I don't think she could.
I think, first of all, I think a stuffed hedgehog could beat Trump, but a stuffed hedgehog couldn't run the country for 4 years. So,
well, I wish it was that easy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and then. We don't have to talk about that. I didn't watch any part of the convention. I mean, I caught the highlights, the Kid Rocks and the Hulk Hogan.
No, I didn't watch it. I saw a review of his rambling speech. Apparently he started off, he was programmed. He stuck to what he was told to say for 20 minutes, and then he couldn't keep,
He told reporters specifically in advance he would not mention Biden at all, and then at the 50-minute mark he mentions Biden and almost goes, "Oh, well, okay, that's the one time. That's okay." But then he continues to just rant in his. I mean, it starts off about unity, but then it's just. I mean, he's never going to stay on that script. No. Of course, no mention of gun control. No mention. I mean, liberals are still the evil ones, despite the fact. If we had had our way, the gun that he was shot with would have been banned decades ago. But it's our fault. Now no one's allowed to say that he is a threat to democracy. Apparently that's off the table. You're not allowed to say that anymore. They're walking around with ear bands. Like that's a fashion state. I mean, this is a cult. This is. This is a.
That's what I thought. I thought this is really. I mean, I can't think of a time in history where you think if the bullet had just nicked Abraham Lincoln's ear, that his pals would have been walking around with ear bandages, and I mean it.
I don't know. No, we'll. Yeah, okay. Did you hear about a video that was shot on a campus where a black pro-Palestinian protester was taunted by frat boys who were making like primate noises?
No.
Okay, this happened on the campus of Ole Miss maybe 3 months ago. It was widely
What
denounced.
was the campus?
Ole Miss,
Okay,
University of
yes, yes,
Mississippi.
yeah.
It was widely denounced, and including by the college, who says, of course, the boilerplate, we don't condone this. The Republicans at their convention play a clip of who they are consider virtuous, anti-woke young people. That's the theme. Somehow
Yeah.
this has to do with unity, but virtuous, anti-woke, and they play this clip at the Republican National
What?
Convention. Yeah, no one's apologized for it. No one's asked Trump about it. No one's asked anyone else about it. The media is not going to do their job, except for the president of the NAACP who came out and denounced it. There's going to be no pushback to this. This is how they're not dog whistles anymore. They're bullhorns at their main event.
But what was the context? These were
The
the
context was
Republican.
look at our guys and how they push back on these these woke liberals. And
I was told in casual conversation, by a man I've known quite a long time. He's about my age. He may not be American. He could be Greek. Very low key. I've only talked to him about art. And he said to me, and I don't even know how he came up. He said, oh, well, more than half of the pro-Palestinian protesters in New York City are on salaries paid by the Ford Foundation. Half of the pro-Palestinian protesters. So he's talking about thousands of people.
yeah. No, I know. No, this is always no. I no. Okay.
And he actually
First
said,
of all,
he didn't say it was being funded by, he said they're on salaries.
Yes, on salary. No, okay. Yes,
That's
that's
why they come in on Friday and they get paid by
they've been
Darren
saying
Walker,
this
the
for
president.
decades. First of all, I literally should start a class action lawsuit against George Soros because where's my check? Where are my benefits? I've been allegedly on salary for decades and I haven't gotten. Whoa, you're not supposed to. Yeah, no, I haven't gotten one penny for. Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, well, that's astounding. I said, I'm surprised that I haven't read about this in the New York Times. And this guy is not Jewish, but he's not Jewish, right?
Right.
He's not. And he said, oh, but the people who own and run the New York Times, they're all liberals.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, this is.
So if you're a liberal, you're on the side of the Ford Foundation. The Ford Foundation was, and his complaint basically was that Henry Ford, who was a German sympathizer,
yes, he was, who had Adolf Hitler's autograph.
The money he made was going to liberals, right?
Right, yeah, no. So first of all, I mean, the Ford Foundation, all of them, even the Gates Foundation, which does a lot of good around the world, specifically around malaria and malnutrition and access to water. They do not do anything with microchips and vaccines, regardless of what people say. But even the Gates Foundation was set up to be I mean, I don't want to say launder money, but it's for rich people to launder their money. I mean, that's what foundations are for. Trump had one until they were mismanaging it so badly they had to get rid of one. They're not.
He had a foundation so that he could buy a portrait of himself.
Yes.
That's deductible, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
no. Right. But no, okay. I mean,
anyway, I was surprised because it shocked me, not because of what he was saying.
Yes.
But I realized that people are not what they seem. I mean, if you'd said to me, oh, his name is Alex something, what do you think his politics are? I would have said, I have absolutely no idea. I mean,
Right.
no idea at all.
Right.
And yet, it's like this story that, well, very apt, that my mother used to tell various versions of, which is a visitor used to go to a home for to an asylum, they called it in the old days, and every weekend would walk around the grounds with this old lady and have perfectly normal conversations. I mean, just absolutely. And she didn't know. I mean, she was a visiting guest. And then one day she said, "Well, let's sit down on this bench." And the woman said, "Oh, no, I'm a fried egg. I have to sit on a piece of toast." So another version that my mother told is the woman said, "No, my bottom's made of glass and it'll break, you know." But basically that you can know somebody and you don't know anything about them until you ask them like a leading question. And then what they say is very surprising, maybe very surprising. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What I mean, so obviously I came up in the service industry. I also, I was, I worked for 10 years in early learning where, again, it's a service field where I know for a fact some of these parents have different political beliefs than I did. What do you think about and again, I refuse to buy into the notion that we all are responsible for turning down the temperature on rhetoric because it came from somewhere. It's not neutral. It's not everyone's doing it. But what do you think about, there was a time and there was a world, and I don't know if that, and again, usually looking back to the past nostalgically is not a good idea. I'm more of a progress type of person, but where we didn't talk about religion, politics, certain things in public spheres. Do you think that's okay? And I guess as an extension of that, does every celebrity now, should they have to state their beliefs? Is that required?
Well, apparently so. Apparently, and this isn't because the studio bosses are telling them they have to. It's because they start to do that because they're using their.
Okay, but here's an interesting thing. Social media is often required for celebrities. It is often, for instance, okay. I know for a fact, I can speak specifically to teenage or actors contracted to network teen dramas are required to post a certain amount of social media. In those cases, it's actually very restricted. They're not allowed. They are not allowed to.
Yeah, they're not allowed to do politics or religion.
Yeah. But they're required. But the point being, for certain classes of celebrity, whether it's required by a contract or the nature of the job where everyone has to self-promote. You know this. You're a published author who posts to social media both things that are interesting to you, but sometimes promotional things as well. It's part of a job. Yes? No? Do you disagree? I mean,
I only look at Instagram.
Yes.
And most of the things that I see on Instagram, which are political, are mocking Trump. In other words, no, I mean, I don't see anything that I disagree with, but that's because I only follow a very limited, stuff that I find amusing. But if you go back to a previous, like movie stars of the 50s or 60s, you had no idea what their politics were, did you?
No.
Well, yeah, you knew Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston right away.
But he didn't.
right?
But we didn't know that until the '80s. We didn't know that when he was doing
We
Ben
didn't know that.
Hur. We didn't
We
know
didn't
that.
know that when, yeah, we didn't know that when he was.
We didn't know that until Michael Moore showed up, literally showed up at the thing and was like kind of just super friendly, and he just started like spewing all this stuff, and Michael Moore was like, tell me more. And like he just like, I mean, he self-owned, like, yeah, Charlton Heston was waiting apparently for decades to reveal what his, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, and I think you're right. It is relational to how much of a loudmouth, and specifically when I say loudmouth, I mean not just these are my beliefs, but these are my beliefs and I want to impose them on others and other groups of people. Is going to dictate, because I can give a long list of quote unquote Christian celebrities that I continue to like and follow because they're not Kurt Cameron. They're not out there protesting libraries for children's books. I mean, Mira Sorvino, Paul Sorvino, they're just quietly religious, and that's their right. They don't, I mean, it's not even quiet. They'll talk about it, but they don't, there's a way to talk.
No, they don't, yeah, they don't use their celebrity ness to try to convert people to their point of view.
Nor do they use their religiousness to tell other people how to live. Which I mean, I think is where the lines go. Yeah. All right, back to the okay. So two things. One, again, the gun that was manufactured by a company owned by the store that Trump visited in 2023. Remember, you may remember a Glock that had his face on it that he actually tried to buy, but he can't because he's not legally allowed to own weapons. But he actually visited the store. So J.D. Vance on the Republican stage talks about his mama's 19 guns loaded all around the house to laughter. They're laughing about guns at the convention. I mean, it
is so bizarre.
But but they're still shifting the narrative in the way. And then I guess my question is, Vance, what do you think? How does that J.D. Vance? How does that factor into anything? All of it, the election, what do you think of him as a?
Oh, I think he's a net negative for independence and many women voters, I think.
I
think that his I don't know, it would seem to me that any of these people who loathed Trump a few minutes ago and who now are kissing his feet would have no public following at all. I mean, from any left or right, but apparently because it's a cult, if you convert,
yes,
you that actually makes you even better than someone who didn't convert.
And that ties in with the sphere that the Venn diagram of evangelicals, where born agains are almost revered as a.
Exactly.
No,
he's the prodigal son.
Right, and no, okay. I think. One, I mean, it feels like a very cynical pick. It feels like, he's young, so he neutralizes that argument, which Trump has mostly sidestepped anyway, but especially if Biden steps down, would become more central. So he's young. I get that. I think, no, but a lot of his beliefs, which are very, very hardline, are not going to play well with suburban women voters, which are those swing state voters that they really need. I agree with you that he doesn't play well to them. He's inexperienced. So as of right now, I'm very curious if he will end up debating Kamala Harris, because he wrote a book and then he flip-flopped on Trump and got Trump's endorsement and made it into Congress, and that was 2 years ago. That's it. That's his resume. And I get it. No, and that doesn't necessarily mean, because people's like, well, Obama's resume was he was a community organizer. Well, he was a community organizer for decades, and he was a senator. But I get it. That doesn't. Life experience can be maybe you don't have to necessarily be a politician, but I think his lack of experience and specifically his lack of actually knowing what he's doing. He's been at the forefront of a bunch of culture wars, which again has kept him in Trump's sphere, but most of those are actually deeply unpopular by polling. I mean, most of those culture war issues, people don't think, they don't want you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some of them are deeply unpopular with let's say old-fashioned Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, he seems to be to some degree anti-capitalist. So he doesn't he wants. I mean, I don't quite know how he and Trump are both going to discuss taxes on the same stage, because Trump's going to lower them for rich people, and he apparently doesn't, or he wants to stick it to the
Well, no,
corporation.
but that's exactly what they're going to do. Is they won't be on the same stage. They'll just tell the audience who's there what they want to hear and get away with it. That's what's infuriating. Because yeah,
But
no,
you're right. They don't have a platform, so they don't need to actually be on the same page.
and they won't. No, because there are a couple things like that. I didn't know that actually about the taxes, because that's actually one of the big areas where I'm like very worried. I mean, knowing that Elon Musk is pouring $45 million a month into the Trump campaign, I really think big business is, I mean, now that they see it in view, as a possibility, is really clamoring to get Trump back. He did the biggest
Yeah.
corporate tax cuts since he keeps saying he did the biggest tax cuts.
Any
But
viable, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you are a viable candidate for office and you want to cut corporate taxes, you're going to get a lot of money.
Mhm.
They're going to give you money
Mhm.
because why not, right?
Yeah.
They'll get, if you win and you get in and you cut their taxes, then it doesn't matter how much money they've spent. It'll come back, right?
Well, it doesn't matter how many trillions the deficit goes up to either, because you'll be out of office by then. All right, what else? So, something else.
Okay, what else? Uh,
Okay, all right, I have one. And I
Yeah.
haven't asked you about this one, but it turned up as a Jeopardy question, so I think it is valid. I don't think this is an area you're super interested in. Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Do you have any thought or opinion?
I don't know. I don't know enough.
Mhm.
I do know that I did a New York Times quiz and I guessed Drake and I was right, but I don't know what I was guessing right about. I think it was, I see. They're slamming each other, right?
Yes, it's a beef. No, okay. Can I give you a little background on it?
Well, yeah, because I'm beginning to remember a little bit, but tell me
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
So, I mean, rap beefs are very, very common. This one was interesting only because they're very different styles of music. Like Kendrick Lamar is more socially conscious, political. He won a Pulitzer. Drake is more money, cars, jewelry.
Okay.
Like they're very different styles. And I'm not sure exactly how the beef started, but once a beef starts, it's on. What's interesting is Drake lost, even though Drake is probably the more commercially successful of the two. I don't like how it ended. It ended with a song by Kendrick Lamar called Not Like Us, which Steph Curry, the basketball player, recently said, hey, it's not the only song in America, but it seems to call attention to the fact that Drake is light-skinned and biracial in a way that is colorism, for lack of a better.
No, I get it. Yeah.
And I'm surprised by that, by Kendrick. It also contained specific references to specific things I'm not going to touch, but that were what are called in the rap beef world body blows, in terms of like, okay, you won. Like that is like, these are like,
Okay.
he got, but specifically, it's surprising again, because he's a socially conscious rapper, that he would chose to use terminology like colonizer to describe a Drake concert in Atlanta, saying you only come here when you want money. But Kendrick, you're a professional musician. You probably only go on tour when you want money too. I mean, it's a business. Don't, so to call him a colonizer felt specifically
Is
racial.
this, I don't know this world well enough. Isn't this a little bit like professional wrestling, where there are manufactured?
No, it's no. It's not in the sense. No. And that's a great question. Are beefs manufactured? Sometimes. But unlike wrestling, where the people who script and write it all work together, the people who agree to be the good guy and the bad guy all work together. The heroes they're playing a character and they know it, and then sometimes their character gets to get sympathy and they get to reverse and all that kind of thing. That's a very different thing. That being said, like I said, once a beef is on, it's on. Both camps know we're going to milk this for all it's worth. Both camps know it may not even be personal. It is about how many hits, how many songs, how many views, it is coordinated in that sense that we are both agreeing to participate in this event. But actually, it's more like I would say, legitimate sport than wrestling in that sense, that it's two different teams agreeing.
So does somebody? So you're saying when he started to make reference to skin tones,
Yes,
he's going out of bounds, or
no. Well, no. There is. Well, one thing is,
it's a misstep. It's a misstep.
I'm saying I personally don't like it, but I also want to acknowledge again, when we talk about colorism, more often than not, it's people with proximity to whiteness, people who are using it against darker skinned people. That is actually how colorism mostly works, and that's very important to call out. And I'm saying I personally don't like it, and I've heard other people call it out, but there are no missteps. These are based on the street rules of the dozens, which are the disses that you do, yo mama jokes in the street. There are no rules. There are no.
That's a Harlem tradition.
There's no actual. In theory, there's no line. I'm just saying, for me personally, especially knowing Kendrick Lamar, I would expect him to have taken the high road, to have elevated a beef rather than descend to the low, and to technically win by using the sort of lowest common denominator. I'm saying I'm disappointed, but I also agree he won the beef if that's the verdict.
But did somebody get knocked out? Did one of them get, in a sense?
They're both going to be fine. They both have new material coming out. They're both going to. At some point, they might end up with a song together and they have done songs together in the past. So and it's not. That's where it does start to get more like wrestling, where suddenly management teams start to coordinate so that we can do an appearance, so that we can squash the beef but also milk a little bit more out of the beef, and then we can start the beef again. So rap beefs actually started in New York. They started with, you might even remember this because it was on our radio every day for half of the 80s, a song called Roxanne, Roxanne.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the original thing. And so it was Roxanne, Roxanne, and it was just this anonymous 13-year-old girl that they got to sing it, and then the other things, and then they got the original girl, but the other team had gotten her to be on there. So again, coordinated, uncoordinated.
Who sang that?
What?
Whose song was that? What band?
It was EMPD was the first group, and then I can't remember all the others, but I actually own the album where they compiled Roxanne, Roxanne, yes.
Roxanne.
Yeah.
Okay, quick commercial.
Yes.
Beverly Hills Cop, 52, whichever one is out now.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Okay, so no, and they're all back. Bronson Pinchot and Judge Reinhold. It's like
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's got a daughter now.
Yes, no, but the daughter is dating
he's definitely 50 something. He looks a lot older than you. I have to say that.
Well, yeah. Anything else? Anything you're watching, reading,
Um,
suggesting?
uh, okay, um, on, I forget, Prime, maybe, I'm not sure what streams it. It's called Stop Nyquist. Did you ever see Killing Eve? Did you know what Killing Eve
That
was?
sound I've heard what.
This is I mean, Killing Eve was, I forget, it's in English. Stop
Yes,
Nyquist,
yeah, yeah.
basically between, it's about a rather overweight intern
Oh,
in the government in Finland,
yes.
and he suddenly becomes the head of the, I mean,
Yes, no, I actually have seen. You've recommended before, and I have seen
it's
it.
very good. No,
Yes.
I finished it now. I
Okay.
mean, it's
Yes.
it's like 6 episodes. It's very fun. It's very funny, and it's also, probably mention it's an interesting. They talk, they're on one side. Russia's a few minutes away.
Right. No. Right. Right.
So, they're always in and out of Russia,
Yeah.
and there's America. Is the big bad, not all the big bad wolf, but it's a different way of looking at.
Yes. Yeah. You know it. Yeah. Yeah. No.
And it's funny. It's a comedy, but you still get the idea.
Yes. Okay. If I say Deadpool versus Wolverine, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah.
That's okay. You don't have to.
I'm a Wolverine kind of guy. I'm not really. I don't quite grasp Deadpool, but
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what his origin story is. So.
Okay. No. Okay. Well, it's probably too much to explain right now. I am rooting for Deadpool and Wolverine. I hope I hope it's a bromance movie.
I've seen them. They do a duet to stop people from in the movie.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, yeah, I saw that in the theater too. That's
very good.
And there was a woman in the theater when I saw Longlegs who just pulled up her phone twice. The second time, someone shouted out, "Get off your phone!" and she put it away, which is and people like clapped because that's super valid. Like we can all see it. It actually is distracting to it takes us. It takes us out of our moment. Okay, were you affected by the CrowdStrike, the tech?
No,
not at all.
I saw it. I read it, but nothing.
Me neither.
I don't know anybody.
No, good.
Who was no
good. And then your week. Do you have anything planned? Anything special? Anything?
No, I can't think of it.
Same, just a regular week and just make it through. Okay.
Make it through.
I love you so much.
Love you, Bob. Take care.
Bye.